quiet clerk's hidden strength saves the day in a storm, turning mockery into respect. Discover Ellen Carter's journey. Like, subscribe, and share if this moves you. Comment. Who's the unsung hero in your life? The fluorescent lights buzzed faintly as Ellen Carter, a 47-year-old records clerk, adjusted her grip on a battered blue thermos, her nameplate glinting under the dim glow. "Lost your way to the filing bin, Grandma?" jeered Captain Roland Hayes, his laughter cutting through the hum of the Springfield Emergency Response Center. Ellen's fingers tightened on the folder in her lap, her expression unreadable. Funny how people overlook the one turning the key until the lock jams. Ever seen someone underestimated until they shine? Before dawn broke, Ellen had unlocked the building, inventoried supply kits, and fixed a jammed printer in room 4C. The center exhaled a stale metallic breath, its concrete walls reluctant to stir. Her worn sneakers padded softly across the linoleum, tracing a path from the supply closet to the admin wing, then to the printer, where a red error light blinked. She knelt, popped the panel, freed the crumpled paper, and tapped the rollers before resetting it. A green light flickered on. She scribbled, "Repaired," on a scrap of tape in her neat script and stuck it to the machine. The break room smelled of stale coffee and damp insulation. Ellen set her thermos down, unwrapping a peanut butter sandwich. Not to eat, but to check its condition, a ritual honed from years of preparedness. A radiator clanked to life, rattling the silence. Outside, frost edged her sedan's windows, and brittle oak leaves skittered across the lot. She passed a bulletin board, its notices yellowed since summer, including a faded certificate. Outstanding service, Region 5, 2001. Dust coated the frame, unnoticed by most. Her key clicked in the supply drawer, retrieving spare batteries for emergency radios, which she slotted into training kits. In room 4C, she swapped out a faulty paper cutter. When Ms. Hargrove swept in at 8 a.m., her heels clicking with urgency, she barked, "Incident reports by 9. No eye contact, door hissing shut." Ellen nodded silently. Laughter drifted from the next hall as staff joked about expired rations, ignoring her pass. New hire Paul Rivera, clipboard in hand, offered a cautious "Morning." Noticing the certificate, he asked, "That your award?" Ellen's smile was brief. "Just decoration," she said, brushing it off. Paul nodded, retreating to the copier. At her desk, Ellen adjusted a flickering lamp, then opened the bottom drawer, pulling out a faded photo. Herself and her uncle in uniforms beside a muddy tent, both smiling faintly. She set it down as the lights flickered again. Down the hall, the morning briefing began. Hargrove strode past with files, an analyst grabbing printouts, muttering, "Thanks, Ms. Elaine." Ellen corrected softly, "Ellen," but the room moved on. That evening, she lingered at a diner, hands cradling a chipped mug of weak tea. A muted TV showed flood warnings. A farmer scratched a lottery ticket nearby. A waitress slid pie to another table, calling, "Refills." Ellen declined with a smile, her eyes drifting to Paul, who flipped through paperwork, brow furrowed. He mouthed, "Thanks," unaware why. Back at her desk, she sorted expense reports, misfiled, coffee-stained, correcting them methodically. No one checked her work. She sipped from her thermos, its dent a memory of her uncle dropping it during a drill, laughing, "Even steel tires." The next day, a cold wind rattled the windows. Staff filed into the briefing room, coffee bitter, chairs creaking. Captain Hayes dominated the podium, flashing a garish slide deck, boasting about efficiency cuts. "Trim the fat. Who's pulling weight?" he quipped. Ellen stood at the back, unnoticed. When Hargrove praised initiative, applause rippled, some forced. Paul glanced at her, lips tight, saying nothing. Ellen adjusted her sleeve, revealing a dark band. FEMA Tier 2 responder. Earned after coordinating relief in the 1999 Midwest floods. The meeting droned on, budgets, timelines, until a slide mislabeled a supply route. Ellen raised a hand. That sector's closed. Route via District K. Hayes smirked. Sure, paper pusher. She nodded. Check FEMA grid 19.4. Hargrove adjusted her glasses but stayed silent. Paul murmured, "Good catch." Hayes leaned back. "Badges online don't mean squat." Ellen rolled up her sleeve, showing the band's embedded chip. The room stilled. "You don't need to trust it," she said quietly. "But it trusts me." They saw the band, not the woman behind it. Later, in her office, snow began falling outside. She traced the band, then opened a drawer, her FEMA badge beside a scarf. A knock came. Lieutenant Kim stood, softer now. "May I?" She gestured him in. He opened her folder, photos of her at flood sites, coordinating radios. "I managed supplies after the 99 floods," she said. Kim nodded. "Why stay quiet?" Before she answered, Hargrove appeared. "You should have spoken." Ellen met her gaze. "You never asked." That night, power failed. Snow thickened, and the center's lights died, emergency strips glowing red. Hayes barked orders, flailing with flashlights. Ellen opened a cabinet, pulling maps and checklists. "Boiler lines frozen. Redirect ventilation," she directed. Kim asked, "What do you need?" "3 people, gloves, flashlights," she said. Paul joined, toolbox in hand. Within 20 minutes, they worked. Ellen assigning tasks, Paul wiring radios, staff distributing thermal packs she'd brought. Music crackled from an old radio. In the senior wing, she checked on volunteers, calm and steady. A radio crackled. "Newfield Center copy?" Kim handed it to her. "Carter." "Ellen." "ID 5-12276. A pause. "Commander Carter, proceed." The heat returned, silence settling. Paul whispered to Hayes, "We're here because of her." The snow melted, and pride followed. A week later, the Thanksgiving ceremony filled every seat. Hargrove spoke. "Strength isn't loud." Eyes turned to Ellen. Paul gave her a framed photo of her at work. A co-worker left by with a note, "Thanks." Hayes mumbled an apology. A new memorial wall read, "Silent Service, Carter E., 2023. Quoting her uncle, "Lead without the mic." Ellen smiled faintly, leaving quietly. Her thermos beside a new certificate. Outside, a veteran saluted. Her story asks, "Have you seen someone underestimated?" Share your hero below. Like, subscribe, and spread this.